Okay. So on 28th of April, 2021, yes, so just last month, the clients were hauled in for some offenses. We'll leave that out for now and go straight to the meat of the matter.
Right.
So they were taking, when you enter the Ministry of National Security, they've created this center they call Emergency Command Center. ECC. Yes. So they that place they have cells there, cells that are not known to the law. That's the first egregious violation of the law. Okay. There are cells in there in the building. It's a national security building. It's next to the Ministry of National Security itself, the former race course, and then
Right.
that's also, let me say, opposite to the place Caleb Kuda went to film. So there's a big yard. You'll find those vehicles Caleb Kuda went to film just generally in the ground. Okay, there's grasses, some places are a bit weedy. Then you find other abandoned vehicles. Then you have this emergency command center. Then you have the Minister of National Security. Then at the opposite end, you have Azugu Station within the yard. You find Azugu at the opposite end. There's a tree there at the other end. Yeah. So they were taken in, and then, inside the cell, can you imagine, at the National Security cell, there was another inmate who said something went on. That's why I'm not, because he says, she says, to put it short, there was an inmate in the cell who then asked my client that, look, roll. There were instructions that roll on the floor. So the client had to roll, because if he didn't, obviously because of the powers and everything, this other inmate will, and he was going to suffer mayhem, to say the least. So this client was compelled to roll on the floor, roll.
On
Then,
the instruction of another inmate.
That's correct. So when I came in, my client informed me, and then I brought that to the attention of the frontline officers. So when you enter the emergency command center, there are some frontline officers. You find a military officer, and then often you find two plainclothes men. So the military officer, of course, as a military officer, you expect he would be gentle. He didn't have much to say. The one who quickly gave answers was a plainclothes man, and from the way he reacted with the gota, it fits the stereotype, the profile of the, party boys who are recruited in there. It didn't look professional to me at all, because you know what this guy had the guts to say? He started shouting at the client to keep quiet, and that if he didn't, after returning to the cell, it was going to be worse. I mean, the worst were to the extent that, look, we will sanction further brutality to you. That was it, Kojo. I mean, as I said, I have no incentive to exaggerate this case. I have no incentive. This guy was very clear, kept shouting about, no, you shouldn't tell lawyer. What can lawyer do? I've told you, if you don't stop telling lawyer about this, when you go in, it's going to be worse, and I'm not going to protect you.
Wow.
Long story short, eventually we went up. I escalated the complaint to a director of the system. The director also sat down and laughed. He was very nonchalant about it. But in cells, these things happen. What are we to do? National Security, we can't do anything about this. Yes, it's the attitude. He was very nonchalant. I mean, he was full of laughter. But that's part of the routine. That is it in itself. I mean, forgetting that cell we are even operating in the first place is an illegality. We can see that if, let's say, we are not convinced by Article 200 of the Constitution, which says that nobody else, apart from the police service, should operate a police service, and that if you want to create a new police service, then it has to be through an act of parliament. Apart from it, the Ayawaso West Wagon Commission sat. They sat down and said these police services that National Security is providing and running, it's illegal. So what else do we need? And yet here was a director who could tell me very nonchalant that, look, the brutality in the cells, they have nothing to do about it. It's normal. It's part of cell culture, or if I say cell subculture. You see? So the shock to me was that, wow, after the Ayawaso West Wagon Commission report, where I think I have a copy here, this is 58, where they have said that these SWAT teams should be disbanded and everything, we can have an officer of the state being paid with our taxes, tell citizens that, look, he will do nothing about brutality in the cell, a cell which is illegal in the first place. You see, yes, 58 of the commission report. It says that the commission recommends that the SWAT team of the National Security Council Secretariat should be disbanded and operatives reassigned as appropriate. You go on and on and on, and it's clear from the commission's report that, look, what is happening there is illegal. Because, Kojo, let's quickly go to Act 1030, and I'm happy you even say citizens should buy and read. I know it cannot, some will say, oh, this is a law, it's technical and the rest. But when you take it and you read, you will find that throughout the law, the Act 1030, that's the Security and Intelligence Agencies Act, you don't find any place where national security is authorized to run a police station, a cell at the National Security Ministry. There is no such thing. So this is the architecture. At the top, you have the National Security Council, the president, some of the ministers in charge of security, Minister of Finance, GRA, police, and all those. Then beneath them, sometimes there's a ministerial steering committee where they have some of the ministerial security coordinating committee. Okay, so that's made up of a subset of the National Security Council. Okay, so those are ministers, they meet among themselves, then they can take decisions. Then there is a secretariat. So the secretariat is only to provide support services to this National Security Council and then the Ministerial Security Coordinating Committee and other, and also the law allows for other subcommittees to be created. So the National Security Secretariat is supported. And let's not forget, what is the business? The main business is that they should organize, they should collect and analyze intelligence about security risks to Ghana and also help to coordinate the security agencies. You see? And then so the main thing, you see, so when they say organize and then analyze security threats to Ghana, so we would have expected that these guys who went to brutalize Kpebu and the rest, but now they would have been embedded in the various Galamsey communities in the Western, Eastern, and Ashanti regions where our water bodies are being polluted. That's where we would have expected them to be, embedded in the community and trying to get to the bottom of this matter. And yet here they are brutalizing citizens in Accra. It's as if there's no work for them. Now, so apart from the Ministerial Security Coordinating Committee, then there are the National Security Intelligence Agencies. There are two. That's the former BNI, now called National Investigations Bureau, NIB. And then the research department, they are part of this Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So you see that national security is not about arms alone. No, it's an intelligence work where they analyze the security risk to the country and the rest. So where they need to deploy arms, they need to deploy boots on the ground and the rest, then you call on, if it's police work, you call on police. And even if you don't want to even go to police, within the national security, as I've stated, DNI has been doing investigations. They are also more like this, and well, by their accounts that they become practical like police. Yes, you can hand over to DNI. So, but to go on and create a new structure at the Emergency Command Center, that place, it's a no. Citizens have to rise up against this illegality. I think this is the time that we should call on His Excellency the President. We are begging him. He should kindly implement the recommendations of the Ayawasu West Wogon Commission report. I mean, we don't need this. We don't need this in Ghana yet. I keep saying that, you see, this is how, you remember when these terrorist attacks in the U.S., you know, just because at that time citizens thought, when you mention national security, it means they are like angels who do everything 200% perfect to help, take care of the national security needs of the country. They didn't watch. And at the end of the day, you saw the enhanced interrogation techniques that happened in Guantanamo Bay. That brought the waterboarding, the renditions, and all that. That embarrassed America internationally. And as a blighted American human rights record. And to state, as you say, you see, they are paying dearly for it because they've lost ground when it comes to human rights protection and the rest. So we shouldn't allow ours to escalate to that point. Let's take out these police men out of the national security precinct. Let them return to the police barracks. If national security needs any help, they call on the police. And even within their own national security apparatus itself, there is the BNI, that's the National Investigation Bureau. Why don't you call on them? But you're going to create this amorphous illegal body at the ministry there, a detention center that is not known to the law. I mean, the height of impunity, because one would have thought that, because now, as I mentioned, physically, you see that in the premises there, you find that Azubu station is at one end, and then there is the emergency command center. It's also another business. You see, so sometimes you find Azubu, sometimes you move from his center to come to the ECG, the ECC. You see. So now it means that the structures are even growing. So it's not just the SWAT team. You find the SWAT team at one end. And now there's an ECC, which is also operating a cell. So it means that we are adding on to even what happened at the Ayawasu West Commission system. We are adding on to it. At that time, they didn't know this ECC. Listen, I presume that maybe they didn't exist. So now we've added, because the building is fresh.
Wow.
The building is fresh. Please, we can't allow this to happen. I mean, this is not the kind of country that we all dream for ourselves. You see, so please, we'll beg His Excellency the President to step in this ban. And as I mentioned elsewhere too, the IGP too will take a huge chunk of this blame, because when the Ayawasu West Commission report, when the Justice Administrator, Justice Mensa Bonsu, when they recommended that the team be disbanded. My understanding is that once these are IGP's men, they should ask for them to be reassigned. You see, so is it that IGP to is ceded ground to the Ministry of National Security? Is it that the IGP is ceded ground? Because the men are his men. Azubu is a policeman, he and his people, they are policemen. So all he had to do was to reassign them, send them to other places. Why has he left them there? And think that we'll blame only the politicians and not blame him too. He's also to blame. How can adults sit down and let this happen in this country?
Well, Martin, when it comes to that particular recommendation, yes, the government said it was leaving that to the IGP, so the IGP wasn't done it. But let me take you to an issue that you raised, just by way of clarification. You've talked about they operating, engaging in an illegality because they have a cell there. Now, what is illegal about national security having a cell?
Yeah, okay, so let's repeat. We are looking at, so it stems from our misunderstanding. It's as if national security is also a police force. It is not. National security is an intelligence organization, okay? And then it has sub-agencies within it. That's why I said, if they ever need a cell and to operate a cell, easy. NID is there. That's the former BNI. NID is there. So you see, so apart from the NID, what I'm saying is that where we are at the secretariat, so let's look at the law. The law, as I said, provides for the National Security Council, that's the president, the ministers, the service commanders, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Then there is the Ministerial Security Committee. Okay. Then there is the secretariat. So the secretariat provides support services. You see, and then that's where you have the agents too, the people, and also there are regional levels of it. Can you imagine? Even at the regional level, the head of national security is the regional minister, a politician. No? You say so. You see that the thing is not just about the security of Ghana; it's about the security of the regime. So you see that the regional police commander at the regional level, when it comes to national security, is under a politician. the politician, the regional minister, is the chairman. So you see how the police will never be independent. That's how come when they went before the commission, the Constitutional Review Commission, they said they want to appoint their own leaders, the IG and the rest.
So talking about that particular cell issue.
Yes, so the cell. So
yes, you say the law, and I want to understand, for instance, which law. And so if national security arrests somebody, how do they go about it? Or if any of the operatives arrest somebody based on intelligence, how do they go about it?
This is how they go about it. So I said Act 1030 doesn't provide for any more cells to be set up there. No. It says that when it comes to investigations of crime, it says that in that case, it should be the NID. That's the NID in the law is called the Internal Intelligence Agency.
Sure.
Wednesday, let's repeat. Under the law, under Section 14, if you are investigating a crime and you have to arrest and everything, that is DNI's role. It's not the secretariat. Where I went and the people I see at the emergency command center, it is not BNI. Look, I mentioned this elsewhere. If example, you talk to the policemen, the way they are serious about that system there, because they are losing ground. That is the work of the BNI. So you have that when the secretariat, where you have the intelligence agents and the rest working, okay? So if they are analyzing and collecting data about security risk, and when they think, a crime has actually been committed, remember that the secretariat, they are preemptive. They have to preempt. So they are analyzing, they stay ahead, and then they provide early warning signals, okay? So when they see that a crime has actually been committed, then they should call in DNI, because that's DNI's role. Because the research department, that is called the External Intelligence Organization, it's part of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so they won't come into investigation. So anytime national security needs to investigate and arrest, or let's say they are already investigating something and they see a crime has been committed or it's imminent, then they have to activate BNI, take over. And we all know BNI. Of course, we also have our issues with their abuse of human rights and the rest. Mm-hmm. But today, what we are discussing is that a new structure is even being imposed past the SWAT team. As I said, critically, I see Azugu Station to the, like if you enter to the left, Azugu Station is to the left. Let's say maybe when you enter there about less than 100 meters to the left. And then the ECG is to the right at the other end. Physically, I see two distinct structures and two distinct institutions too. So the SWAT team is still there. And then you find the ECC there, where they have the cells in there. So that's a new creature that has grown past the IRSO West Work Commission report.
Right.
So, Winston, please, as far as me I've read here, I've not seen provision for cells. No. If anything, they say go to BNI. It's the BNI that has the responsibility for investigating crimes and all those things.
Right. Martin, let me ask you, what became of your client? Is he still in their custody, or has that matter been resolved?
Eventually, I went to court, and then the court admitted them to bail.
Right. Now, you're a lawyer. An institution that is not legally permitted to imprison your client has done so. And during that period, your client has actually been abused as well. What are you doing about it? Are you not going to take this up? Are you not going to sue the state for unlawful arrest, unlawful detention?
Excellent. Yeah, so we are looking at that. Often you depend on there are some of the things you can do in the public interest. Other things, you need specific instructions of the client. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Right, right. Okay, well, that's Martin Kpebu, and he's revealing something that is the reason why I asked that we should all go and read the law before we come to this conversation. Because sometimes, you need to see things and know them to be truth for yourself before you then listen to someone's opinion. So now we know to be truth for ourselves the structure of national security by law in this country. The law says that there's a National Security Council. It is chaired by the president. And I can't find another example of a state institution that has its council chaired by the president. This is the only one I can think of. The others, you get the vice president and others, but the president chairs the National Security Council. Everybody on the council is appointed by the president. Everybody. No exception. Beyond that, the National Security has a secretariat that is supposed to support the work of the council. Then there are two investigative bodies. This is all in the law. You have the BNI, now called NIB, which is for internal investigations. Then you have the research department for external investigations. Then we have the nationwide structure, RegSec, Regional Security Councils. You'll find one in every region. Then there's DISEC, which is in every district. That's the structure. That's the structure. The law also tells you who appoints certain positions, and it's mainly the president. But in Ghana, in addition to this structure which is spelt out in the law, in Ghana we also have something called SWAT at National Security. What is that? That's not in the law. And that's what the Ayawaso West Wogon Commission identified and gave a recommendation to the state that they must disband it. Now, I keep wondering on what basis that SWAT team remains. On what basis the state, the government, has decided to maintain an illegality. I wonder. That illegal force now does illegal arrests, keeps people in illegal cells, conducts illegal interrogations, carries out illegal recruitment, and then when something comes up, they issue statements saying they will investigate themselves. The illegal body. Anyway, I believe our guest joins us on the phone now. We told you that we are going to speak to somebody who has operated within national security. We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll speak to that guest.
Oka Decoana, your products in United Ronco. Home, outdoor and office furniture, kitchen and decor items, carpets, cushions, toys, and many more. Locate us off the Spintex Road in Accra. Think home, think Oka.
Just like moms know what to do in every situation, you can trust Fortune Rice for all your rice meals. It needs just a little water. The grains don't stick, and the aroma and taste are delicious.
Fortune Rice is all we need, just like mom.
Fortune Rice, always on point, just like mom. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
You're welcome back. It's the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, I promise you that today we'll get as deep an understanding as possible of the inner workings of national security. We are on a mission to combat national security brutality. So we need to understand the problem. And today, our guest is somebody who has worked as a national security operative. We will not mention his name, but we will learn from him. He joins us on the phone. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
So you were a national security operative for how many years?
I'll say months, because I was really reassigned to the presidency.
Right, okay. So you were there for some months, and then you were reassigned to the presidency.
Sure.
Okay. Without, revealing too much, tell us what were the general duties that you were expected to carry out as a national security operative?
In my case, I was at the communication outfit.
Okay. What did that entail?
Every institution have a communication outfit. So as at when you've been assigned what to do, but in between time, you do communicate with some departments within
Okay. So,
to know exactly occurrences.
so were you part of a team like this SWAT team that we are observing?
No.
That wears uniform and
No.
goes out with arms. You
I
were
think
not part of
Kojo,
such a team.
the first guest of yours have said it all. Okay. Even to see somebody coming from national security, his or her appearance alone tells us all. Neatly dressed, either traditionally or formally, whichever. Not in this type of war tank appearance. National security is an intelligent unit of the presidency. The secretariat have a composition of other security agencies as supporting forces. That's it.
Now, you talked about the fact that you were part of a communications team and you were assigned to know occurrences. Now, what occurrences were you assigned to know? Do I get the impression you were into intelligence gathering and
Of course,
investigations?
Yes. Exactly so.
So give us a typical example of an assignment that you would be given.
I will just be letting information now, which is not appropriate. But at the end of the day, all said and done. You see, let me give you a typical example. What happened to your colleagues in the media? Okay? There was no need to send armed men there.
How would you have done it in your time?
You could have just make a love call or write a love letter.
What do you mean by love letter or love call?
You must be that diplomatic. Because at the end of the day, you want to find out the reason why there was such an occurrence. You ask yourself, let me use that of the CTFM guy. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He went there and took shot of an item or a product, isn't it?
Some cars, yes.
Some cars. Under normal circumstances, are those cars supposed to be parked within the premises of national security? A big no. A big no. What are the police there for?
So you are saying that
if a journalist who is actually chasing news got to know of a news at a particular place, he must use his or her own methodology to get that news. If you knew very well that you have sensitive security installation within that environment, there was no need for you to park such cars there.
So what
So
you're
it's like you have prepared one of your delicious meal, and you kept it so that the following day you will have a good set of dining, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But accidentally you went and put a cup of sugar close to that particular soup. What do you expect the following day?
There'll be ants.
Of course, yes. Of course. The National Security Secretariat have some installations which might be sensitive to the state. Why do you have to go and park cars that belong to Muslims there?
Okay. So while you were at the national security, what were you told were the functions of the National Security Council?
The Secretariat, which are where? Not the council.
Yes. What were the functions of the secretariat?
I think the first guest have said it all. Intelligence gathering. We do a lot of analysis. It's a busy place. keep you thinking of the state in every sector.
Okay.
There are people who go to the market, lorry parks, wherever you find them. And these days, I find national security operatives showing off their goaters.
The GOTA, tell us, just for the benefit of the public, what's a GOTA?
It's just a communication device, just like the mobile phone.
So a satellite phone.
Yes, that have a specific segmentation.
Right.
You understand me? You are supposed to pick intelligence. So when you go around showing off yourself, who gives you that intelligence? You are rather wasting the time of the system. You see people going around, I'm from national security, and so what? How do you get your intelligence?
Okay. Now, did you have a force at the National Security Secretariat while you were there?
Do you have what? Do we have what?
Did you have a force, a standing force at the National Security Secretariat?
Yes, I see. It's a secretariat, so it needs support services.
So, did you have the force?
When you say force, exactly what do you mean?
As in what we have? We have a police unit there, SWAT unit, currently the National Security Secretariat. While you were there, did you have any unit?
There was police officers. There was nothing like police cells because we rely on the BNI cells and that of the ministry police cells.
Okay.
If you are detaining somebody for investigation, why do you have to put that? Why in your cells? No. Because the BNI is also what? Integral part of the secretariat or the council.
So you were there as part of the communications team, not part of a force. But
No, you see, when you say force, there is no force at national security.
well,
At the
there is one
secretariat.
now.
Say again?
There is one now. So
No,
I'm
it
trying to
depends on the
see
leadership.
the difference between how things were done when you were there and how things are done now.
Yeah,
You
that's
are
what I'm
saying that
it depends on the leadership.
yeah, so you are saying that there was no force at the time you were there, right?
There were no force that goes around to arrest people in the way people are being arrested today.
Okay.
Because it is the duty of the police service.
Okay. How did people get recruited to work for national security? How did
You mean the
how did
secretariat?
you get recruited?
You mean the secretariat?
Yes.
It varies.
How did you get
Because
recruited?
people might be on secondment to the secretariat from the various security organizations. There might be civil employees also. There might be people who have gone on retirement whose service might be needed. National security is not about the security agencies alone that we have. It's about intelligence gathering. It can be a pastor, a medical doctor. There can be an audit issue that you need an auditor just to get the basic understanding of the subject.
So, did you have people who were brought in, because perhaps they were affiliated to the party in power? Did you get some members of national security who came in that way as well?
Everybody in this country casts his or her vote when the time comes. Definitely by secret balloting. But you may have an affiliation. The most important thing is that, are you qualified? Are you doing what is expected of you? Forget about the political affiliation. Everybody. If not, promotion within the security services will not be done on merit politically. The most important thing is that do exactly what is right.
So there were some party boys and girls who were brought in, to work with national security at the time as well.
Name one, like.
I'm asking
Myself.
you. I'm asking you.
They were. That's what I'm saying. They were.
Right.
But they have training. It's just like people who are affiliated to political parties, who got the opportunity to join the security forces, the military, the navy, immigration, customs, whichever way. But at the end of the day, once you have been trained, you are qualified, got admitted and recruited and get trained, you own loyalty to only one particular institution, which is the Republic of Ghana.
So what kind of training do you go through?
Training that fits the purpose of my department.
Okay. Can you give us just a sort of an outline of the sort of training? What kind of things are you trained in?
Yes, that's what I said earlier. If I were there today, I would not agree to that kind of brutality that took place during the arrest of the journalists of CTFN or other journalists.
So I appreciate that. I'm trying to get an idea of the basic training of a national security operative.
That's
We
what
were
I'm saying,
told...
it might vary.
Right.
Because if you are seconding somebody from the police service, what training are you giving him? You might upgrade. You might do some refresher courses. You are seconding somebody from within the military to national security. You are actually seconding somebody from the research department to national security. These are people who join heads to analyze issue. Then when you realize that it is so critical, you hand the suspect to the appropriate agency, being BNI or the police service.
Okay. Now, you talked about the fact that in your time you'd have written a love letter to these persons. Now, what form do the love letters that you are writing in the past constitute?
My brother, just something diplomatic. That person is working within an organization. Just have to talk to the leadership within that organization that on this day of time, we need this type of yours for questioning. And you also prepare and come along with your lawyers or lawyer, whichever way.
And
Jojo.
Okay. And in those days...
You see, I have cited that of the CTFM journalist occurrence as uncalled for. We just have the Adabraka police station just behind CTFM, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
You could have just let the CID there do its work. What is wrong with that?
So
National Security Secretariat is a very reputable organization. Let us not look at it as if people who just go there for their own interest, just to settle scores. No. Why should somebody walk to your house and from national security? I'm arresting you. With which warrant?
So you've talked about writing to the organization and inviting those persons. They come in with their lawyers. So normally when they come with their lawyers, what form does the conversation take?
It's an internal issue, but very cordial.
Okay. We're talking to a former national security operative. We're learning a little bit about their MO, and we're also learning his professional view of what happened in the Caleb Kuda situation. Caleb and Zoe, obviously, of CTFM. When we come back from these messages, we'll walk through the Caleb experience as it's been reported. And then we will get the opinion of this former national security operative on how they would have done things at each stage of this process. We're trying to learn. We'll do more of that when we come back from these messages.
All the food. The relative who's always late. The brother who's always on the phone.
Hello, let me call you right back.
The niece who's allergic to everything.
No, thank you. I'm allergic.
The work buddy that finishes the last of the Coca-Cola. We all know one, but meals wouldn't be the same without them. Savor moments together with Coca-Cola. This advert is FDA approved.
Joy 99.7 FM. Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best.
Jama, nada. Yeah. Any brana say akuma. Nibana fono brana. Pesa mikumnyana say yemuma. I brought in some money across. Yeah, me rawo. That is even me rawo. Ramagena konto money. Oh,
Joy 99.7 FM.
No question, Nipan and Penica. Dear, when you can overcome for one to Muda. Aba, Onya Memrana Faya Swatchina, Yadani, Yaniswanya Safona, Yebunipa, Yenimani Wood, Yenim Ferrier, the Yapeni, the won't yet to say yes. Over your one as Kumanya Nipan in favor. Techa Madane Bosha Hodos Unina on Teda, on Teda, Onyamiachi for the Pone Money, if you say when you said that your Webuakonta, Akota, and so trust them, not so much in Nika, near Busoni and Onte or your Sika, Senya Mema Peter. Here was I here the check one. By the 10 as well manager consultation number. Yes, Christo Baco, Draco Prono Baco, about it just getting the more that we wear the differ. When we are minipa, for any deeper, and the Debbie I can carry when him Trenya Mesompa. Charlie, it's not funny anymore. No, some other believers even declare holy war. But I beg Charlie, tell me what be holy about this war. And then the Pamoja and the Pia, what more? If you are supposed Ni brana say akuma. Ni bana fono brana. Pesa mikumnyana say yemuma. I brought in some money across. Yeah. Yes, I
Coffee in your cup. Enjoy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet. On Joy 99.7 FM.
And there was a co one that you want to fan. I'm on your semi putting in a canano. Yet you go to your propaganda. No, a man penny for no credit, the amount of mamano. And watch that you took my dance to any moya dantano. You been a cuckoo, Dracano, Naya Bonano, Adamudi, Guapayo, Amuseti now. Jody Papa now I know your body money. Say, as no one no credit, as no man no credit. Yet just am no hunter and you who the promise bread. And I didn't go to cranny, I feel I shepherd. Or mine I didn't could be seen. I to nip and bread. Yeah, bread. I to play me now, yeah, go get the trade. Yeah, Mexican, you didn't die, and no done bread. Yes, go to Masano for me and so. And so Nipa that's a Nico Jahe Cocaine. If you have to say, we did any go one song. Only one yard, I then I'll be found one whole time. Trust I'm no say, no make kind of friend on this papa. No papa said on the friend, I'm in Chacha. If you have to tell for me.
Coffee in your cup. Enjoy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet. On Joy 99.7 FM.
Any brana say akuma. Nibana fono brana. Pesa mikumnyana say yemuma. I brought in some money across. Yeah, me rawo. That is even me rawo. Ramagena konto money. Oh. No question, Nipan and Penica. Dear, when you can overcome for one to Muda. Aba, Onya Memrana Faya Swatchina. Yadani, Yaniswanya Safona, Yebunipa.
You're welcome back. It's the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. We're speaking to a former national security operative. We're learning about the inner workings of that organization, how things used to be done, how things are done today, what has changed. But, of course, we're grateful for your text messages. They are all brought to us on the Super Morning Show by Glyco Critical Illness Plan, GSIP. It's in your best interest to survive.
Well, at Glyco Life, we believe this is the time to protect your future with our life insurance policies. Now, our products are designed to offer you peace of mind, especially in this COVID-19 era. And so, to our policyholders, your claims very important to us. And we advise you to visit our offices or the Glyco Life website, glycolife.com, to lodge your claims for prompt service. We're surviving COVID-19 together, so please pay your premiums via your chosen mode of payment or by Momo on 0591 441473 or by e-premium for microinsurance to safeguard your policies. Our call center team is ready to support you, so call us on 0202-222-113 for assistance or contact us via our digital channels. We care for your safety, so all our offices are implementing the Ghana Health Services recommended COVID-19 protocols. Please practice social distancing, keep safe, and trust Glycolife to cushion you for life.
Now, a simple activity like choosing to brush with Pepsodent Herbal Toothpaste can go a long way to boost your oral health. That is why your favorite oral care brand, Pepsodent, is introducing the all-new Pepsodent Herbal, available in 140-gram packs. Pepsodent Herbal, with its amazing natural formula, gives you and your family strong teeth, gums, and all-round cavity protection. Yeah, you heard me. The carefully selected natural ingredients like green tea herbal extract and other herbals are uniquely formulated to release inner heat, repair and protect gum tissue, and give an all-round cooling sensation. So don't be left out. Choose the new Pepsodent Herbal Toothpaste for strong teeth and healthy gums.
Well, so they come in different shapes and names. Now, you've seen the rest, but we're bringing you the best now because Kingdom Books and Stationery, your trusted partner, has just taken delivery of high-quality medical-grade infrared forward thermometer. That's temperature gun for sale to the public. And the features include precise non-contact measurements, automatic data holder, auto power off, backlight LCD display, set alarm value, and many more. For bulk purchase, contact Kingdom Books and Stationery on 0501401050 or 0244311955. You can also walk into any of shops located across the country. Visit our head office located at Osu Ako Eje Junction.
So, look, this is what I'm hoping you will do today. Wash your hands frequently and carefully with soap and water. Rewash your hands several times a day, especially after touching anything, including your phone or laptop. Use hand sanitizer when you can't wash your hands properly. Wash fresh groceries. Clean and disinfect surfaces like countertops, door handles, furniture, toys, laptops, and mobile phones with alcohol-based disinfectants. All right, so let's get back into our conversation. Our guest is a former national security operative. Now, let's take the conversation through the recent happenings. So, a journalist went to the National Security Secretariat car park to verify information he had been given on social media by a government official. He was filming. He was detected filming, was apprehended, according to him, beaten, tortured, and then carried to his workplace forced to identify a colleague of his to whom he had sent the footage. And that colleague was also brought to National Security along with management. After some questions and answers, management were allowed to leave with the colleague, but the journalist who originally went there was detained for a further 5 hours, during which he says more abuse was meted out to him. Tell me, walking through this process, which aspects of it match the MO of national security and which aspects do not? Let's start with the apprehension of someone filming in the car park and the torture.
Thank you, my brother. When you say car park, you have a public car park that anybody who has a business to transact at national security have to park. Okay? So was he filming the cars that were parked by visitors or what?
He was filming vehicles that had, according to him, been abandoned at that location for years. Maslock vehicles.
Then, and the question is that what business that Maslow vehicle got to do at national security? I cited an example earlier on. I don't have to say that in tree. If Wilson can help me, with the that brings onto the house. There's a saying like that.
Go ahead.
Okay? the journalist might be doing an investigative job. Okay? He's not supposed to do filming. No, it's not allowed. Because it is a security installation or institution. But he's chasing something that is not supposed to be there. I vividly remember during our time, one way or the other, we helped each other. And when I was sent to the presidency as an aide, okay, there was this issue of stolen vehicles from abroad. And all such vehicles were parked at the police CID headquarters. Very luxurious cars. After they have been cleared, the president then, His Excellency President John Ivan Santa Mills, the late, asked that such vehicles should be given to institutional bodies like teachers, nurses, just mention them. Very luxurious cars. And we're asking how can they even maintain it? But let them also fill it. When the vehicles were disposed, we took them from the police CID headquarters and parked them at the State House car park for further distribution. Not by we, but by another team. So if Maslock have a problem with its vehicles, and it might be based on what? Criminality. The best place to send such cars is to the police.
Okay,
so fundamentally, it was even wrong going after the journalist.
Right. How about how they treated him once they apprehended him? He says he was slapped, kicked in the groin, made to kneel down. Are these all standard operating procedures for national security?
Absolutely. When we were there, no. What was the purpose of inviting him? To actually retrieve information, isn't it? So you end up slapping, beating, walking, sitting, doing all kinds of things. Will you get the original result that you are looking for? You will not. You will not. I think the law does not even allow you to touch somebody as a suspect. Does it?
It doesn't.
So, I mean, why do people want to actually allocate to themselves what does not belong to them or what they are not supposed to do? It's an intelligent unit. You get the information. That's why the president is always briefed on daily basis by the national security coordinator then, possibly national security minister now. Why do you have to beat? I heard there was one journalist who earlier on had such a torture. I think, is it Modern Ghana?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was turned upside down. Why? Are you trying to roast a cat or what? When you do that, what is the purpose? What are you achieving? Then what will you do to a hardened criminal? Hardened criminal, what will you do to that person? It's a harmless fellow human being, fellow Ghanaians.
So, according to Caleb,
do you have to go in such a manner?
Right. Now, according to Caleb's narrative, at some point he was told by one of the people torturing him that they had been ordered to beat him. And so he was in for, the beating of his life. I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
You beat the person.
Yeah, my question is that in this case, these are people who have come from police and military. They are used to following orders. As a national security operative, if you are given an order that you consider to be unlawful, if you are asked to beat up an innocent person, for example, and you consider it to be unlawful, can you refuse?
Unfortunately, I don't beat. and I will not give such an order. I've worked with officers who have distinguished themselves in their various institutions. It's very lively working there. When you work there, you come out, you realize that there's too much, as today, there's too much indiscipline in society. That is what we should be thinking of. How many? You see, let's be careful with security issues. Okay? You might be 3, 5, 6, 10, going for an up. But one day, you might not be lucky. It's not about machoism. It's not about beating, slapping. It's not about showing off. I've earlier told you that national security operatives are always neatly dressed. Underline, neatly dressed. That is how they go out to trade with the public.
Okay,
so if there's an issue like that of the journalist of City FM, Adabaka police station is just behind. What difference will it do to radio Adabaka police station to interrogate the journalists involved? By doing so, the name national security will not even come in, and it is not supposed to come in. Have you ever heard somebody telling you that I'm from the research department? No. Much as they operate on our behalf externally, but still no. They are also part and parcel of the National Security Council and Secretariat. You see the way the Bureau of National Investigating Operatives operate. Is that the way they do it? They do it quietly and nicely.
Okay. Let's also ask about the raid on City FM. 7 or so men armed with assault weapons storming a media house in search of a female worker. They chase her into the building, into the kitchen, we are told, with their weapons, in a bid to, well, detain her. I can't say arrest her because they don't have arrest powers, as you have pointed out. In a bid to detain her. Tell us what is your take on that action as well?
It is uncalled for. With such energy into such an act, how will you operate? Should you go to arrest a hardened criminal? I'm not getting answers to that. These are harmless citizens who are powerful with their pens and their microphones. Why should you give such an instruction? What do you intend? What was the purpose? To show exactly who you are? I'm sorry, we are absolutely nobody. It's by his intervention, his divine intervention that we all live. That does not mean that we should look on for criminals to be operating within the system.
Let me ask you something. What if they considered that the information that has been sent to the colleague was sensitive, and because she works at a media house, there is a possibility that the information might be disseminated, quickly, when it should be kept secret? Would that not warrant, a speedy operation there to quickly apprehend and, contain the information?
Yes, I agree. But the point is that we could have avoided this, but not actually putting the cast of mouthlock at the premises of national security. So.
All right. Now, they also asked for the phones of the journalists and deleted the contents. Tell us about that. Is that also standard operating procedure?
But at the end of the day, once you have not gone there, it's warrant. Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that? We do have people, we do have journalists in the past who visit us based on our invitation. And we trade cautiously within ourselves. Okay? It's not about just deleting. It's not about just deleting. Why do you have to delete? Okay? When you get it deleted, what evidence are you trying to gather? I hope you understand my point.
Yes.
You've gotten the evidence deleted from the person's phone. What business you got to do with the person there?
Now, you say, for instance, what's a journalist doing there? Yes, as a security installation, but if it becomes necessary for a journalist to conduct some investigations in the interest of the state, he should be able to come to the national security, shouldn't he?
That is what I said earlier on, that the journalist is on a mission to the benefit of you and I as a citizen.
Yes.
If that vehicle were not parked, or vehicles were not parked at national security, the journalist will not be at national security doing filming. If the cars were parked within the premises of the police service, that is where he will go. Because when the cars were parked, I'm told it was an open space.
Yes, but what I'm also trying to find out is that as a national security installation, was it your understanding too that nobody can come in there and take pictures unless with the permission?
You are not supposed to take pictures within the confinement of any security apparatus.
Okay.
You are not.
And that would include this open car park that you are describing. I have never been there, so you tell me.
At national security varies. Okay? It varies. Let's not condemn the act of the journalist. The journalist is tracing something, and that is why he got what is not supposed to be there. That is my point. The vehicles of Matlock are not everything national security, national security, national security. One day, we might end selling both roads at national security. National security is supposed to be a very peaceful environment for people to crack their brains for the benefit of the nation. Why can't Matlock send such cars to the police?
All right. So, I mean, I am interested in this car park matter. Okay. And I've never been there. So I want to know, is that part of what you would describe as the security zone? I mean, I understand if I walk into the ministry, for example, or any of your buildings, and I am told that I can't film or I can't take pictures. But in a car park, that anybody who is in that vicinity coming there will use the car park and will not be denied access to it. Why am I not allowed to take pictures there?
Kojo, as we speak, I cannot even pinpoint the building that occupies the Ministry of National Security. But that of the Secretariat, I can't do that. I can't easily, even blindfolded. But the point I'm making is that visited car park, you have access to your phone. And at the visited car park, what are you going to film? The gate? The guys on duty who are at the top, or the building? There is nothing to film. You have access to your phone. Even sitting at one of the rings of Accra Sports Stadium, you have a clear view of how the premises look like. Do you understand my point? And I don't think national security will really get its installation open to the public just like that. No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Now, I've got to say that historically, the national security, BNI, have been accused of overstepping their bounds on many occasions. Caleb's situation is just the latest. I remember all the way back in, I think it must have been 2015, when Samens, who was actually is Caleb's boss, was also invited by the BNI in 2014. This was in relation to a story that they had done on Nayeli Ametepe, who had been picked up in Heathrow with about 12 kilograms of cocaine and a diplomatic passport.
I can't speak on behalf of the Bureau of National Investigation.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to do that. We are learning from you what the MO is and why we keep seeing violations of and excesses and abuse of power. Okay.
What do you mean by excesses?
So I'm coming to it.
Yeah.
Samens was invited over to national security. Yes.
Who is Samens?
Samens is the boss of Caleb Kuda, the CEO of City.
Oh, okay. Samens.
When he got there, he was told that he cannot go with his lawyer. His vehicle was left in the car park at the BNI, and he was whisked away to another location in a van and was kept for 5 hours.
You mean BNI or
BNI,
National
yes.
Security Secretariat?
BNI, which is part of the National Security.
When it comes to BNI, I can't speak to it.
No, I'm not asking you to speak. We are trying to learn what causes the excesses. Okay, and the BNI is part of the national security apparatus. And we're trying to learn from you, somebody who has operated with the national security. Why is it that rights of citizens are often violated by national security and BNI operatives? Now, I'm not asking you to speak for them. I just want to understand the culture and why, whether or not you would have considered it right to detain someone without access to their lawyer.
In this case, if national security could have invited the boss of the journalist and their lawyer could have gone there together nicely. Once that was not done, you should expect that kind of attitude, which is not the best. It's
Very
not.
well.
But whatever might have transpired at BNI, no, I have nothing to say on that.
Very well. I want to thank you for your time with us. I appreciate your candor and your education. Thank you. Thank you very much.
But let me find out, why reggae this morning?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What?
Why reggae this morning?
Oh,
Thank you very, very much. It's a decision that the production team made. These are trade secrets, so we can't say on air. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for joining us. But are you watching your favorite program on a flat screen HD TV? Did you know that you can get it in clearer and brighter high definition quality, which is 5 times better than standard definition? Well, get the new HD Plus decoder today from the nearest authorized dealer or any Electroland showroom nationwide and enjoy the feely experience on your HD TV like never before. Visit www.hd-plus.com.gh or call 0242 439872 for more details.
right. Listen, thank you so much for listening to the Super Morning Show today. We've told you that we are on a campaign to end national security, to combat national security brutality. It's hard to say it can be ended because there'll always be a bad apple, but we want to combat it. We don't want it to be the norm. We can't normalize brutality. We can't normalize illegality. You can't fight illegality with illegality, and this is the purpose of our campaign. So we're going. This is just the latest in a series of conversations about this. There will be more. Stay with us, fight with us, and let's make Ghana better. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Kojo Youngson,
And I'm Winston Amo.
Jama, nada. Yeah. Any brana say yakuma, ni bana fono brana.
10 o'clock.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to Joy Headline News at 10. The second phase of the COVID-19 vaccination exercise has begun in 43 districts in the country. The Ghana Health Service has already distributed 350,000 AstraZeneca vaccines for the rollout of this phase. Already, Joy News is learning of delay in the arrival of materials in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. I will bring you more on that. Meanwhile, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kpebu, notes, even if you take your second jab, you cannot take off your mask.
As long as not enough people are vaccinated, the 6% of the people who are vaccinated who may have the virus may transmit to somebody who is not vaccinated. And so as still a significant number of population are vaccinated, so that you have the chance of you multiplying the virus within you and you transmitting to somebody who is vulnerable is there, you all have to continue wearing masks, even if you are fully vaccinated.
You heard the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Patrick Kpebu. Former Lands and Natural Resources Minister Inusa Fuseni has challenged Chairman of Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Kennedy Japan, to provide the list of the MPP and NDC bigwigs who he says are fueling the Galamsey menace. The Asin Central MP issued a stern warning on Monday to some political figures allegedly involved in illegal mining in the country. But speaking on PM Express on the Joy News channel, Mr. Inusa Fuseni said that political equalization will not help the fight against Galamsey.
Kennedy Ajapon doesn't help anybody. He doesn't help himself if he continues to threaten that he will reveal. This is a time to reveal the names of people who are taking Ghanaians for a ride. This is a time to hold the former Minister for Environment responsible. This is the time to hold Charles Pisio responsible so that at least we can have our way clear.
You heard the Inusa Fuseni, his former Lands and Natural Resources Minister. National Security Coordinator Major General Francis Edu Amanfo has justified the forcible removal of DCOP Ayinso Pariadu from office by persons claiming to be operatives of the national security. Mr. Opariado said he was handcuffed, hit with the bats of an AK-47 and dragged out of the office, an act he describes as humiliating. But the man on whose orders the men claim they were acting says they were indeed deployed by the National Security Secretariat.
Like what, sir?
That is it. These issues are being investigated. A team and a committee has been set up. He had no locus to be in the office because a new officer had been appointed and he should have handed over to the officer. He says he won't hand over. Right. And so that is why a team was sent to Accra to go and mitigate and facilitate the handing and taking over process.
You heard the National Security Coordinator, Major General Francis Edu Amanfo. The Ghana Tertiary Education Commission says it is working around the clock to ensure it averts a possible shutdown of the country's colleges of education. The Council of Principals of the Colleges of Education told Joy News they may not be able to keep the schools open if government fails to release their delayed feeding grants within the next 2 weeks. Emmanuel Nyamiche is the president.
In most of the colleges, it's almost impossible for us to continuously feed the students without paying to our suppliers what we owe them. GTEC is doing its best to try and then help out. But then, not until the money has been received, I'm afraid we may have to take austere measures. That would mean asking our students to go home until such a time that we have money to be able to take care of their feeding.
Before we go, health authorities in Malawi have banned 19,610 expired doses of the AstraZeneca corona vaccines, saying it will reassure the public that any vaccines they do get are safe. It is the first African country to publicly do this. Malawi received 102 100,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine from the Africa Union on the 26th of March, and they have used 80%. But the expiry date on the labels was 13th April, so the country's principal health secretariat noted it was unfortunate that they had to destroy them, but the benefits outweighed the risk. Uptake of the vaccine in Malawi has been so low, and health workers hope the move will increase public confidence. That's all for the news at 10 with me, Hannah Odami.
Are you ready for the biggest football festival in Europe, live on the Multimedia Group?
Chance for him to shoot! It's not an in by Kane! Harry's done it for St George! De Bruyne to the edge of the area! Oh! That was unbelievable! Mbappe a pace! It's a fourth for France! It's a second for Mbappe! He has been unstoppable! Oh, genius! Absolute genius! Would you believe it? And it's a hat-trick for Cristiano Ronaldo!
Watch Euro 2020 live in HD on TV, radio and digital media on all Multimedia Group channels and on the HD Plus decoder. Kickoff is on the 11th of June.
The greatest night in Portugal's football history for Cristiano Ronaldo. From tears to cheers and more tears this time of joy. Champions of Europe 2016.
Use the stones again. Say, well, let me that. You know, not say we they make late where they make at the wedge.
Oh, Charlie Kwabuna, it not be me, oh, not be me. It be the program I they watch for that my new HD Plus decoder I got to. Solid stuff, I tell you. It dey allow me make I enjoy my favorite local TV channels in razor sharp, high definition quality. It be 5 times better than SD. Everything make clear. What? It check like a day there song. And channel selection, A1. I mean, I can scroll to see what each channel will show even 1 week ahead. Plus, I go fit preview the channels before I go watch. Charlie, this is the power to select what you want. This one, it also gets parental access control feature. So the kids don't go fit watch anything they want. They spoil there for me. This June, I go watch the Euro 2020 in correct HD picture quality and casa with HD Plus.
You too can watch your favorite local channels feely in true HD quality. Look sharp and get yourself the new HD Plus decoder and experience world-class television at an affordable price. Existing multi-TV customers do not require a new satellite dish. For more information, call 024-243-9872 or visit hd-plus.com.gh. HD Plus, the feely experience.
Yo, Johnny Jr. Hey, Macquarie Quay. Charlie, what team you the support? Charlie, I beg, hold on with the team. Hold on. See, the atmosphere is charged for rivalry and fun. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Liverpool, Dortmund, Manchester United, Barcelona. So everybody they ask, say, what team you there for or what team you be against? My buddy, rock your favorite club jerseys and join us live on our various social media handles at Hits 103.9 FM for this year's Rep Your Jersey 2021. As we watch the grand finale of the UEFA Champions League live on the gargantuan screen between the Blues of Chelsea and the Citizens of Manchester City. There will be various activities such as video game competitions, sports quiz competition, and many more. Saturday, 29th May 2021. Bayview Village is the place to be, and the time be 3 p.m. Charlie, this year's edition is strictly by invitation, so tune in to Hit 103.9 FM for a chance to win one. All COVID-19 protocols will be observed. Rep Your Jersey 2021 is brought to you probably by Hits 103.9 FM and supported by Joy Prime. Sponsored by Great Odds, you go feel 'em. Citruless mixture and capsule, slim to look smart for the future. Day by day man, powerful body care for active men. Hits FM, Rep Your Jersey 2021. Eagle Power!
Them they discuss you.
It's 11:15, not the time, but where we are at today. It's been quite a journey for entrepreneur Harrison Mati, but now he knows what time it is. This week on the Joy Business Van, we're at 11:15, a prestigious restaurant and entertainment center he set up after years of trying to figure out a business that would work.
My mom ran a chop bar, and I was the youngest among 3 boys. So we are 3 boys, 4 girls, and I was the youngest boy, so I was usually the person around. helping with cooking and anything that she needed an assistant with. So I picked up a few of the tricks from her. Then when I went to university, I cooked a lot. So I figured out that, oh, okay, I had picked a lot of the traits from my mom, so I could be a good cook. I tried monetizing that on campus, but it didn't work. Then, fast forward, I graduated from school, looking for a job, nothing was coming up. And I said, okay, why not start a food joint and then see what I could do.
We'll hear more on what Harrison is doing with 11:15 this Wednesday on The Joy Business Fan, on TV, radio, online, and on ground. It is powered by Joy Business and supported by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Matankuma, Anita Akufu, or Henry Giftiality. No size. These ladies have opened my eyes, so now I know what to look out for when buying GTP. Just listen to Matankuma.
When buying your GTP, always check the design number on the label. The same number is printed on the selvage.
Let's hear from Anita.
Another way to prove that GTP you're buying is authentic is to scratch the white sticker to reveal the 12-digit number. Text to short code 1393 across all networks toll free. You get a text within seconds that tells you if your GTP is authentic or not.
Thank you.
You can buy from any wooden store or any of the GTP accredited dealers nationwide. Or you can do as I do. Go online and buy from www.buygtp.com.
Oh, your God! Those are some of the trusted ways you can choose to buy your original, genuine, and authentic GTP.
GTP. Timeless.
Unlock banking with biometrics and get more done in a flash. Now, you can access the Absa mobile banking app using your fingerprint or facial recognition. That's right. A smile or touch is all it takes. Pay bills, buy airtime, do any transaction, and so much more. Enjoy convenience from the cutting-edge bank designed to get things done. Download the Absa mobile banking app today. That's Africanacity. That's Absa. For inquiries, visit your nearest Absa bank. Terms and conditions apply.
Water gives life. Water is life. Enjoy the pure, refreshing taste of Awake purified drinking water, which comes in a uniquely designed bottle with a lemon green tap. Water is your perfect way to stay hydrated. And remember, for every bottle you buy, an amount will be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center, Ghana. Awake purified drinking water. One for life.
For bulk purchase, contact 0262 351 251.
This advert. The Cosmopolitan Mix.
Do not worry. Do not be afraid. I am all you need to make a happy day. Wherever you are, I bring you joy. Joy is all you need for today. 99.7. Have seen, my ears have heard of your mighty deeds and powerful show of love towards me. Good, good shepherd, good lover. I join the angels to shout
The Cosmopolitan Mix. The Cosmopolitan Mix. The Cosmopolitan Mix.
Can't you do what won't you do? Nothing impossible. Nothing impossible. What can't you do? What won't you do? Nothing impossible with our God. You do not lie, you do not fail. What is hard for you to do? It doesn't exist. It's gonna never ever exist. You do not lie, you do not fail. What is hard for you to do? It doesn't exist. It's gonna never ever exist. According to your knowledge and your will for me, what you say you have done, I just need to align, no. Because you are not a man that changes your mind, oh. Those that know you will trust in you, not in horses and chariots. By the arm of flesh, no man can prevail. No man, no man, no man, no man. My confidence is you. What is hard? What is hard for you? It's gonna never exist. Oh, you do not lie, you do not fail. What is hard for you to do? It doesn't exist. Oh, it's gonna never ever exist. Oh, you do not lie, you do not fail. What is hard for you to do? It's gonna never ever exist. Oh, those I know you will trust in you, not in horses and chariots. By the arm of flesh, no man can prevail. Ask Abraham and Sarah, and the woman with the issue of blood. Oh, nothing hard for you. Ask Mama Hannah, oh, blind Bartimaeus, they can go as the Israelites. Absolutely nothing hard for you. No man, no man, no man. My confidence is you. What is hard? What is hard for you? It can never exist. Oh, you do not lie. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, you don't have the ability. You don't know how to fail. It is not